You may not be able to watch some of NASCAR's races in 2025. That might seem like a very ominous thing to say. That might seem like something that, in all honesty, would be kind of a joke to people in the past. But, according to some new reports, this may be the reality of the sport moving forward. And it all stems from an Adam Stern tweet with an article highlighting that NASCAR may have the return of the Summer Series, which is gonna come back via streaming. Now, some notes to take from this first, that NASCAR executives are having meetings right now with different streaming partners, or possible ones at least, that span from both today as of recording this video, as well as Monday during the Dover race. Now, they also said that it's unlikely they're going to give them marquee events like the Daytona 500, the Coke 600, Southern 500, or if it does come back, the Brickyard 400. So, rest easy, NASCAR fans. At least the big events you will not be able to miss. But more than likely what it looks like is they're going to carve out a summer stretch like NASCAR had with TNT from 2007 to 2014. The summer races generally are seen as more undesirable when it comes to fans and markets alike, and also are kind of like the flyover races of the NASCAR Cup Series. You got tracks like New Hampshire, Pocono, Richmond, and Michigan, as well as many more, and while those tracks offer good racing at times, they also seem to be forgotten many times also by NASCAR fans. Now, NASCAR's probably looking at the likes of the MLS in totality with Apple TV, as well as Thursday Night Football with Amazon, and seeing what kind of success they've had and how it's built their younger audience, which is probably what NASCAR is going for with this. And from what it looks like on the TV side, Fox and NBC are back. But how this carves into their coverage of races is still up to be determined. Could it be 3 from each? Could it be Fox gets 16 races and NBC gets the last couple with streaming on Peacock? We don't know that much detail yet. The contract, from what it sounds like, could be signed by the end of June at the earliest. Right now, though, the real argument isn't who's going to get the rights, it's who's going to be paying how much for those rights. And I think that's the big part right now, and that's really where the crux of the issue has been between NASCAR and its teams, is the teams want more money, and NASCAR can probably get a bit more money, but not as much as other leagues would. I mean, unlike other leagues, NASCAR has generally been going down in popularity, and that's not going to help you get more money or leverage over those who can give you money. Now, if you know anything about me, I love to have some reckless speculation. While this stuff probably won't come mostly true, it is fun to ponder what could happen as well. And how can this all be done is the question I'm asking. Well, in the simplest way, you could make 6 open races that NASCAR sets aside for the streaming summer stretch of the 36 we currently have. There are races that NASCAR fans in general skip over. Like I said, there is New Hampshire, Pocono, Richmond, Michigan. You could probably add in Sonoma with that, and maybe Gateway or Kansas. One of those races, if you put all 6 of those in a row, they're races that most fans would probably have tuned out on otherwise. They're races that wouldn't bring many new fans in, and it would be races that losing the big viewership TV would give you in comparison wouldn't hurt as much as, say, in Indianapolis or Atlanta or maybe Chicago, whatever it might be. So NASCAR could cater their schedule to that, which would probably fit more or less with, well, what they're going for on this. But I don't think it's going to all be that easy. There were rumors that came out months ago about 40 race seasons, how the networks want more races, not less, like many fans have talked about, and what they want is just more TV time against juggernauts like the NBA and the NFL. Whether or not that comes true is still up for debate, but they could do this with these kind of streaming races. And in my opinion, it follows the COVID blueprint. During COVID, NASCAR kept going for the most part and was the first major sport back in business when everything had shut down. How did they do this? Well, they went to tracks in midweek races. And while midweek races didn't do numbers on TV, they probably would do pretty well with diehards who would probably get a streaming platform for it. Or at least that's probably where NASCAR would think it would go with that. And I think that when they did that, one of the big things that helped them is that they stayed at tracks either that A, they owned, or B, were close to the central hub of Charlotte. So you might see an extra Charlotte race, maybe a third Darlington, maybe Richmond or Martinsville, Bristol, maybe go down to the Daytona Road Course because they do own that track and would have all of the access to it. Maybe do something like that, and then you can also compact the schedule together more without losing the races and give the teams more time off in the off season. I think it'd be very difficult. I think that it would be a negative for the sport, but that's a way that NASCAR could go with it. You also got to remember that ESPN has also been open to NASCAR as well, and they have a pretty darn good sports streaming service. So maybe add them in with partnerships with Fox or NBC. I don't think that would happen either, but maybe have them added in, as it seems like they've become the racing network again. There is a big problem with all of this, though. Viewership. If this is streaming only and not just a streaming adjacent where, say, diehards can pay $7 or $8 a month so they can get commercial-free NASCAR. Streaming will cut the audience from millions of viewers a week to probably a couple or tens of thousands of viewers a week. Diehards like myself, I'm going to pay for NASCAR. We're going to pay for NASCAR. But somebody who's sort of on the fence, or NASCAR might be their second or third favorite sports league, they're not going to pay for NASCAR. You're going to see, first and foremost, who your most diehard fans are with this. But the other problem you're going to have with this is sponsorship. With less eyes on the sport, it gives less incentive for the sponsors to continue putting their logos on cars and slapping different stickers in different places. Why would you do that when you're probably getting about the viewership that a low-level college football game would get on ESPN4 or one of those backwater market networks? That's what you're getting. Funding teams with more possible races, or with the current amount of races but less sponsorship dollars being willingly thrown in, would become a very expensive and big issue, and probably just make the issues NASCAR has now worse, regardless of the streaming money thrown in with it. So what's the solution? Well, right now, Fox and NBC having a similar split to what they have at the moment would be pretty big, as they are the ones it sounds like you have signed. That is, I think, the easiest part, because they already have the resources set aside to do such a thing. But there needs to be the streaming-only option for diehards, in the sense that they can get that commercial-free NASCAR they've wanted since seeing F1 fans get that buzz. And then also still have it on TV for the casuals, even if it does mean some of those streaming-only races were actually more cable and streaming races instead. There needs to be an avenue for casual fans, as while TV is slowly dying out, streaming is slowly gaining strength. They are not either dead or the top dog yet when it comes to either one. It's still a big struggle, and NASCAR needs to understand that and have a contract that adapts over time. But with that, I'm going to ask you what you think. What do you want NASCAR's new TV deal to be? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all of my channel members for continued support, and be sure to watch the NR Cup Series at Bristol tonight on my channel. Cannot wait to see you there. So, until then, have a good one.